So good evening, lovelies. Just beginning on your mat, wherever you feel you want to seated or lying down, whatever feels right. And then just taking a few moments to relax, come into your space. And however your day has been, just allowing all those thoughts to wash away, and this is the time that you have for yourself now. Me time, precious me time. Having a few moments to just check in with your body and where you do have aches and pains. So if it is hips, if it is shoulders, if it is your back, neck, anywhere else, just observing Satya and Himsa. You know your own body the best. No one else does. So just adapting a pose should you need to, using more support around you if you need to as well. It's not about the perfect pose. It's not about being in a position that looks like a picture in a book. It's about how you express yourself through a position and how that manifests for you and what you discover on the journey. And this is why yoga is such a beautiful practice, because there is so much more to it than often an hour on the mat. So just taking a moment to root yourself down. And taking some nice conscious breaths, just 2 or 3, just really observe the breath coming into the body, the expansion in your body, and a lovely slow exhale. And as you do this, perhaps you find a little bit more relaxation through the shoulders, through the face. And what would you like to gain from your practice this evening? Can you set an intention, a sankalpa? And often these are started with I am. I am happy, not I want to be happy or the desire that isn't there yet. It's a lovely expression of where you are. I am happy, I'm joyful, I'm calm. It's a really lovely way to mindfully set an intention. Often one that I say to myself is I am happy, healthy and wealthy. Wealthy in all senses, with family, with a lovely home, being warm, food around me, those things, what we really truly need. So when you're ready, if you're lying down, just have a few moments to hug the knees in, have a little rock and feel into the body before we'll gently come up for meditation, zazen. And if you're already seated and you just want to kind of roll the shoulders and have a gentle wiggle, and then joining me in a lovely seated position. So we'll take 5 minutes. And often the reason we do this at the beginning of a yin class especially is to really kind of prepare us for that, being more mindful in our poses than perhaps other styles of yoga where a meditation is often done right at the end when we lie down and relax. It's a nice way to just come into your own space before we even come into the poses. So this evening I think we'll just do some sit quietly, resting our hands in Dhyana Mudra. We can let the eyelids close gently and just breathing and following the breath and being present with the gaps that we find between our thoughts. And the thoughts will come, but just sort of notice them, come back to the breath, and even if those gaps are split seconds, you may start to just notice them. So let's close our eyes and just gently follow our breath. Just following your breath. Maybe aware of the gaps in your thoughts. And gently just taking a few more breaths. And blinking your eyes open when you're ready. Okay, lovelies. Noticing how you're feeling. Whether that was a lovely calming practice this evening, or sometimes the mind doesn't want to settle from the day. No judgment, literally just observing. So joining me in our first pose, dragonfly, where we sit and we extend our legs outwards into like a V shape. And you can support under your buttocks if you want to, with just sort of the edge of a cushion. If you need to pop something under the knees, then that's always an option too. Otherwise, we're just going to enjoy this gentle pose. This does work into your hips, but it's not an intense hip posture. So just see how you get on with it. And if you do need to bring your legs a little bit closer together or alter in some way, please do. if any pose this evening doesn't feel right, or it just is aggravating something, please, you can just come out of it and try something else. You know your body. So let's just soften here and relax. Breathing to your belly. And then gradually, as you ease through the legs, you can bring your awareness to your shoulders and neck, softening. Thinking about where you are on your threshold this evening, whether you're sort of 70% into your pose, 80%, or you need to be a little bit softer and the lower end of your threshold. Lovely pose for your liver and your kidneys, which can get very affected with anger and fear, can weaken the energy lines here. Just keep gently breathing to belly. Can you feel more through your right or your left leg this evening? Does your body feel like it can soften a little bit more into the pose, only if you feel that you can? It's nice to be reminded of the quote by Bernie, I can't remember the surname. We use the pose. We don't use the body to get into the pose. We use the pose to get into the body. So we're going to take 2 more breaths. And then gently, when you're ready, just lifting your body slowly, walking the hands towards you, feeling that lovely relief just as you lift up. And then swinging your legs around, coming to Shavasana. We always take these maybe just about a minute sometimes in between each pose, giving yourself the opportunity just to feel, connect back with yourself, feel the energy flowing through your nadis, your meridians. Take a fair few breaths to relax the back. Sometimes we're tight in our abdomen and tummy, so releasing muscle there. Notice if the sides of your waist, you're tight in your muscles. And then just keep looking around the body, wherever you can soften. And it's really interesting sometimes to see how long it takes you to really relax. The body holds so much unconscious tension. So gradually, that probably feels soft enough now. Let's draw our knees in. Right knee, left, then left knee. Enjoy a few rocks side to side. And then we're going to come up into supported bridge next. So if you've got a block, you can use it on the top height or the second height, turning it sideways. If you've got a softer bolster, you know, like the big foam bolsters, then that can be quite supportive if you don't want to use a block this evening. And just decide, today I'm going to take it onto the lower height. That's where I just feel energetically I want to be. So lying back onto your back, your knees are bent, feet near to your buttocks. Lift your body as if coming into bridge. And then just support yourself on the block, making sure it's on your sacrum, not encroaching onto your lumbar vertebrae. And this part, you'll feel that flat section sort of in line with the top of the buttocks is how I describe it. And then just letting the arms relax to the sides. Palms will probably turn up. And just try and relaxing through the legs and buttocks. And also you'll find where you connect to the mat, the shoulders, just notice if they keep creeping up to the ears and just softening them every now and then. Gentle belly breaths. If you're on the top level with your block and it just doesn't feel right this evening, you can always change it, adapt your pose. And as you breathe deeply to belly, you can enjoy the whole expansion of the chest, certainly the front ribs moving, opening. This is a lovely pose for your heart and your throat, and a Hatha and Vishuddhi. Keep checking in with your buttocks to see if they tense up and the backs of your thighs. And just witness your thoughts. What's going through your mind? Were you in the present or the past or the future? Dwelling on a negative thought or a positive one? Finding solutions to things? It's curious to observe the mind. Just come back to your breath. Keep relaxing the shoulders and shoulder blades. And how do you feel in this pose this evening? Is it welcome? Does it feel good through the back? Sometimes when you're in these poses, it's really lovely to think of an affirmation for the chakras that you're targeting. So throat could be, I speak always with loving kindness. And the heart could be, I deserve to receive and give love. Something like that. Make it your own. I am lovable and loving. So one more breath. And lovely and slowly lifting yourself up ever so gently, just enough to clear the block, popping it aside and coming down. Just enjoying how your body feels. Feeling that quite a nice sensation sometimes when you feel the block against your body, taking it away. It's quite stimulating on the area. So how does your lower back feel? How does your heart energy feel? Lovely for solar plexus as well, bridge. So as you lie here, just enjoying whatever you're feeling and wherever you're feeling it. And then when you're ready, let's draw the knees in, one at a time. Having a nice little rock, massage your back, massage your belly. Just nice to be in touch with yourself and be curious as to new sensations. And then what we'll do is we'll roll up. We're going to come into open wing. So I'll start, because I'm lying this way, we're going to take our right arm out. So join me lying on your tummy, and we're going to extend the right arm to the side, pretty much level with the shoulder. And then what we'll do is we'll bend that left leg, roll ourselves back towards our arms. So your shoulder is rolling back towards your arm. Now, I know some of you might have issues with shoulders, so depending on which side is the problem, being gentle. You can keep your left knee in front, or if you find it a bit more comfortable, just adjust your body. You can take your left leg behind you if that supports holding the position. And then wherever you end up, just trying to relax as much as you can here. This is all about encouraging that lovely stretch in the shoulder. We don't often take our arms back this way. They're always forwards doing something. So just be very mindful. You might not roll back very far at all. It really is just a gentle opening here. Try and relax your face, neck. And again, if you just need to shuffle yourself to get more comfortable, then please do. You can take your left arm behind you if that encourages a bit more balance. If your hands start to go a little bit tingly, then you can choose to come out if that doesn't feel nice. And then we'll just take a few more breaths here. I'm not holding this one too long this evening, so when you're ready, just straighten out your body, roll back onto your belly so that you release out of this shoulder position, and then you can gradually just turn yourself onto your back. And then it's always interesting to feel what we feel, what lovely, fresh, freeing sensation we're going to feel through our arm. Really lovely for your lung and your large intestine and your heart and your small intestine, those meridians that flow through your arms. The heart and the lung are the yin, and the intestine, the small and the large, are the yang channels. So if you feel any sensation on the inner arm, they're the yin channels. On the outer part of your arm, the yang. Still relaxing the rest of your body. And then when you're ready, just draw your knees in one at a time. Take a moment to rock. A few breaths, if it feels nice to lift the head to your knees and get a bit more of a stretch through the back now and then. Do what feels good. And so we'll come up for the other side. So joining me on your belly, and this time we're going to stretch the left arm out to the side. Again, wherever is comfortable for you. If it is in line with the shoulder, then great. And then we'll roll to the side. If you have a little cushion, I forgot to mention that the other side, if that's handy, you can let your head rest so that you can take some tension out of your neck. Again, just positioning your legs wherever you feel it's most beneficial to support yourself. Relaxing your hands. If you're lying on your hip and you need a little bit more padding, maybe a blanket under your leg and thigh. And just being mindful, if one shoulder is an issue or the other, you might not be able to go into the pose as deeply. Nice deep belly breaths. Your body gets a sort of a very mild twist in this pose. Not that that's the main function, but you might notice it a little bit. Keep trying to relax round the shoulder, neck, through your arm. How do you feel in this pose? Is it comfortable? Challenging? Arms are linked with our heart chakra. We're just going to take a few more breaths here. So if you just wanted to explore the pose a little bit more, just with these last few breaths, just notice what movement you have. And then we will gently come out. So again, rolling onto your belly first so that you come out of this position that you've moved your arm into. And then coming into Shavasana, whichever way is comfortable for you. We're going to use our straps next. So as you lie down, if you wanted to bring them closer, then you can. Have a few moments, as always, in neutral spine, just to feel. This is our pause between the poses, to feel whatever we feel. In all senses, physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. Noticing any chi moving, this time this side through your arm. Where does it feel spacious in your body? Perhaps there's a lovely coolness around the whole shoulder joint. Even maybe sometimes the shoulder leading up to the neck. So many things are very linked here, and sensations radiate from areas that we perhaps don't actually feel the original spot. So gently we'll draw our knees in, again have a nice little rock and a hug. Every time you bring your knees in for a hug, there is that lovely opportunity to just say something nice to yourself. Like something you would say to your dearest friend. It's quite often nice to try and think of that for ourselves. So, my lovelies, if you grab your straps, we're going to come into hammock. So we'll start with the right leg, pop it round the ball of the foot, keep your left leg bent, and then we can support ourselves as we bring that strap round the back of the head. So as a reminder, as always, the back of the skull bone, the base of the skull bone, not the neck. So when the straps cross the head, they just sort of cross the tops of your ears rather than the neck. And then you can either leave your leg bent, but I quite like to extend the left leg down, and you'll feel it a little bit more in the stretch here. So hammock, let's just hang out in hammock. And as we take the time in this pose, you can either push into your foot ever so gently, feel a nice pull through the neck, nothing too intense, just sensation. And then if you relax the leg, you can feel a lot more of a stretch through the leg as the head becomes heavy. So returning to our deep belly breaths. And try to relax your abdomen and the back of your thigh, your hamstring. Sometimes we don't know that, but they kind of tense up without us realizing. Letting your shoulders relax. And every now and then you can play with the idea of straightening the leg ever so gently. Minute movements. How does it feel? So also having the leg raised, we have that benefit of fluids draining away from our feet and legs, restful on the heart. Relaxing the head and neck, feeling the stretch in the leg. Gradually, as you soften into this pose, you might find that your head gets lower and lower to the mat as you feel that stretch in the back of your leg. So if you want to, you don't have to, you can stay here if you wish, but I like to unhook from behind the head, keep the strap around your foot, and then you can have a little play holding onto the strap with just gently moving your leg. Doesn't have to be very fast movements. Just let the leg swing out to the side. And often you can lower it and you get that straightening effect. Lifting it up, and again, being just aware of the hip movement too. If you bring your leg across your body, how does it feel at different levels too? I don't like it. It feels strange. But you might find that that's quite a nice feeling. Everywhere you move it very gently, you feel something different. All the different muscles engaging and being used. Such a wonderful piece of creativity we are as human beings. We really are miraculous. So very gently, just let's lower our right leg. If you want to just swap your feet so you're ready for the other side, you can do. And then we'll have a few minutes just again. It's always nice just to feel the after effects. Where do you feel it most? Probably a tingling on the ball of your foot where the strap's been. Nice stretch in the hamstring, in the back of the knee. And maybe a nice little bit of freshness around the hip. Noticing if you started with tired feeling legs and whether they feel a little bit, in some ways, revitalised. So let's come to the other side. Bringing the left leg up now strap round the base of the skull, and your right leg can either be straight or a bend in the knee, whatever suits you. And we'll feel how it feels this side. Soften the belly, deep relaxed breaths. Again, this is a really nice pose for your throat chakra, Vishuddhi. If your eyes are closed, you can either imagine a lovely pale blue light for third dimensional energy, or working with the fifth dimensional energy, it's a royal blue. How do you feel? Is the leg steady, or is there a very gentle quiver that you can feel? Relaxing your buttocks. What part of the pose do you enjoy? What part feels challenging? You can explore that gentle movement between the foot and the head. And then if you want to, stay here. But if you'd like to take the strap away from the head and have a moment to play with the movement of your leg, you can do. Just being curious about how your body feels and responds to the slightest of movements. Where it starts to feel perhaps nervy and uncomfortable. And where it feels really lovely, with perhaps stretching onto the inner thighs. And then very gently lowering your leg down. Unhook your foot. And again, just taking our pause. Nice deep breath, perhaps a long sigh. Just ask yourself internally how good you feel. And it might not just be the physical side of being on your mat. It might just feel so good to be on your own, in your own thoughts, in this own space and time that you're taking up. So perhaps that sensation's just gently fading now. And then we'll take a breath and bring our knees in. Again, give yourself that lovely little hug. Say something nice. And then we'll roll up. We're going to come into bench just for a few minutes. So grab your little cushions. We'll pop them behind ourselves. A few inches away from your body so that we don't curve into lumbar and we curve more into thoracic. So just lying down. If you need support behind your head, like a block or a rolled blanket, just take whatever you need, because every time you come into this pose, it might feel different from the last time you did it. If we've woken up with a stiff neck and we haven't got that flexibility, use a prop. And then arms can come slightly further wide. You can just feel a little bit more stretch through the chest. And relax. Sometimes we can get quite bogged down with the things we can't do in life. So it's really nice every now and then to just flip that and think about all the things we can do. It has a lovely positive vibe. So gently following your breath if the mind wanders off. And maybe just enjoying how gentle and soft the breath feels now. Checking anywhere that feels tense. And then we'll just take one more breath. Nice deep one with a long sigh. So just lifting up slowly enough to move your props. Come back down for a moment. Feel everything just come into alignment, click back into place. Nice, healthy cartilage between our vertebrae. All the nerves coming out where they should, nothing tight and compressed. We've created some space in our body. And just after one more breath, choosing where you want to come into relaxation. So lying down still or rolling up to seated. And just making sure you're cozy and warm. So hopefully you're comfortable and warm. This is something that I found ages ago from Daily Om. It's called Everything is in Divine Order. It is during the most difficult times that we need to trust and find solace that in fact things are in divine order. We can only see so much from where we sit in our particular bodies, in the midst of our particular lives, rooted as we are in the continuum of space and time. The divine, on the other hand, is not limited to the constructs of either time or space, and its wisdom and workings often elude us as we try to make sense of what is happening in our lives. This is why things are not always what they seem to be, and even the best laid plans are sometimes overturned. Even when we feel we have been guided by our intuition every step of the way, we may find ourselves facing unexpected loss and disappointment. At times like these, we can find some solace in trusting that no matter how bad or just plain inexplicable things look from our perspective, they are in fact in divine order. Even as we take our places in this earthly realm, a part of us remains completely free of the confines we face here. Regardless of what is happening in our lives, this part of us remains infused with joy and gratitude, connected to the unbroken source from which we come. Our small self, on the other hand, who is caught up in our false identity as a being limited in space and time, regards happiness as the result of things going the way it wants them to go. It is this part of us that suffers the greatest confusion and upset when the logic of events does not compute. And so it is this self that we must extend unconditional love, forgiveness, and compassion. In order to do this, we tap into our inner divinity, holding the space of a tender authority, extending love and light to our ego as a mother extends her love to a troubled child. There are many ways to access our inner divinity: meditation, prayer, chanting, channeling, and conscious breathing, to name a few. It is helpful to develop a regular practice that provides us access to all these powerful healing presents, as it can be difficult to reach once we are in a stressful position, if we have not already established a connection. The more connected we are with this part of ourselves, the more we share its unlimited vision and the secure knowing that all things in our life, no matter how they appear, are in a state of divine and perfect order. How lovely. Reflects back to the yoga practice that we take on a regular basis, that we do connect with that higher self of ours. So just taking a few more minutes here just to ponder your thoughts. So just gently notice your thoughts. Come back to that space inside where we sometimes do find that higher intelligence, that space where we're not concerned with the material things around us, that part of us that does know that we are an eternal being living in a physical body for this run around the sun. Sometimes when we think like this, it can put a lot of things into perspective. Sometimes our worries diminish a little. So very gently, just drawing your awareness to your fingers and your toes now, coming back into the physical plane, connecting back with our layer of our body that is physical, Annamaya Kosha. And maybe just rolling the head side to side, roll the shoulders, gently hugging the knees in, maybe even having a nice full length stretch if that feels good as well. And then in your own time, there's no rush, just rolling up to seated. Take a nice deep breath maybe and a long sigh. Feeling good. So as you join me seated, again, just a momentary thought of sending your roots down deep into the earth, big strong roots like a big oak tree, keeping you very grounded and connected with root chakra Muladhara. And we'll bring our hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste. Thank you.